Good afternoon, investigators. Mike Evans from the Australian Security Academy with episode 197 of Spy Curious. That's, yes, 197 weeks every week at 2 p.m. Friday, Queensland time, of the most informative investigation weekly news in Australia. So if you'd missed it previously today on Investigations Uni, we were in our Series 2, Episode 26, Week 1 of Investigations Uni, where we looked at client service level agreements and in particular workers' compensation, general insurance and motor vehicle accident. And we discussed some of the things that you'll see in those, and students who watch that will be able to go and get their CPD points as a result of it. So that's what happened today in Investigations Uni. It was a big day starting Series 2. I'm really proud that that happened. This week in Investigations, the headline screamed that a private investigator on the Gold Coast attacked a man from a 67-year-old man from behind. And it was in the busy Gold Coast Street, and he was in court. It said former private investigator. Now, this didn't get any traction because, well, he was just a crim from ACT, where anyone can call themselves a private investigator. You do not have to have a license in the ACT. And several years ago, he stabbed a man with a knife over a dope deal in the ACT in Canberra, where you can grow 3 plants legally, I think. So he said he was a private investigator, but I doubt that he had a license, and the headlines tried to get some traction by muckraking and saying he was, but I doubt it. Anyway, he was jailed for what he did all those years ago, and he has anger issues and was basically put through the court system in relation to that. Some of the job vacancies this week, boy, there's a lot of job vacancies this week for private investigators around the country. Let's have a look at the first ones. Service New South Wales are after a fraud response manager, and they want to pay you $175,260 per annum plus superannuation and annual leave loading to do that. So this is a high-level investigation role. You will need a diploma of government investigations as a minimum from the Australian Security Academy to even apply for that role. And if you have an advanced diploma, that's probably going to be the cream on the top in the application for that role. So great opportunity in managing the fraud response for Service New South Wales out of Sydney. Ryan down at Brookside is seeking general insurance investigators in Melbourne in Victoria. So am I at the moment. If you're a general insurance investigator in Victoria, I need to speak to you this afternoon. Get in touch with me, Mike Evans, 0407 593 881. So Brookside are hiring investigators down in Melbourne. With general insurance, you're going to do home burglaries, home arson, stolen motor vehicles, motor vehicle accident. You'll be doing some CTP liability too, I would imagine, at Brookside. They have been around for over 20 years at Brookside. They're general insurance specialists. They do other investigations as well. But right now in Melbourne, in Victoria, they're looking for general insurance licensed factual investigators. So they want to know that you can take a statement, that you have good written and verbal communication, so people are comfortable talking to you in relation to what happened with their claim, and an ability to meet deadlines. In general insurance, there are very limited deadlines. Mostly, you're going to have 14 days from the day you receive your instructions to get that finalised job, that completed report, inclusive of the photographs, the scene inspection and drawings, and all the statements back to Brookside to send back to their clients. So great opportunity with Brookside in Melbourne, Victoria for licensed investigators who hold Australian Security Academy qualifications, such as CPP 30619 Certificate 3 in Investigative Services. If your course, which you undertook cheaply, doesn't have anything about general insurance in it, you'll never get a job like that. Okay, also in the news this week, one of the old favourites on this program, the ex-mayor of Ipswich, has been reported in the Brisbane Times that he was provided cash meals and sexual services from prostitutes in return for assisting a property development. So the reason he's been on this program before was he actually impersonated a private investigator in Sydney. And this goes back a couple of years where he posed as a private investigator to demand money on behalf of a female friend. And his excuse was it was easier to tell that person that he was a private investigator than the mayor of Ipswich. So he got himself into all sorts of trouble. He's not the mayor of Ipswich anymore. And just come up this week that he was accepting inducements, offers, incentives to assist with property development while he was mayor of Ipswich. So we'll follow that one and see what comes out. He's been a mainstay of our program here. There's some more jobs. There's a lot of jobs. I apologise. I'm in Tasmania on bush and rural surveillance, so I'm not in the studio. I'm doing this outside. We're doing drone training. You'll probably see some drones going behind me. So there is a fair bit of wind on the microphone. I do apologise for that, but that doesn't mean that the jobs are any less important. Okay, so this week, starting Friday, March the 3rd, 2023, we have some amazing investigation positions vacant. Clarity Workplace Investigations in Kew in Melbourne are seeking factual investigators to undertake insurance investigation work. So it's a great opportunity to commence at Clarity. You can see them on their website, clarityws.com.au. Been established for quite a long time now. They're really kicking goals in the investigation industry in Victoria. A great firm to work for, and they're also seeking licensed investigators for factual investigations in Sydney as well. So get in touch with Vince and the team at Clarity down in Kew in Victoria. If you're a licensed private investigator and you hold an Australian Security Academy Certificate 3 in Investigative Services, they want to hear from you. They will onboard you, help you get a start in the industry, and pay you to do some amazing work in factual investigations. Yeah, they will too. They've got job opportunities at Clarity in Melbourne and in Sydney for factual investigators. In the news this week, in historical sexual abuse case, we have this man. Basically, he was moved from school to school after it was reported that he'd been abusing students of the schools, and he's finally been caught up with by the system, and he's going through the court system at the moment. He took photos of school children, X-rated photos. He had them pose for them. He abused his position of trust as a teacher, and basically he ruined the lives of several people. Now, we discussed historical sexual abuse investigations way back in Investigations Uni about 6 weeks ago. If you don't know how they work or how to do them, you can go to that episode if you're an Australian Security Academy member of Investigations Uni. And if you're a student or graduate of the Australian Security Academy, you are. So that was one that came out this week in relation to historical sexual abuse. Many students over a long time. It's great he's been caught up with. It's sad that he ever did it. So that's happened this week. Other jobs that are available, ProCare have advertised for an investigator down in Hobart. So get in touch with ProCare. You can see that job on our Facebook page. And Massel are looking for a senior investigator down in Melbourne. So Massel, a great organisation, do VWA work. And if you don't know what VWA work is, it was in our Investigations Uni program today. So it was all there, all happening today while we're on bush and rural trading surveillance down in Victoria. That Facebook page, where do you go to find those jobs? Let's have a look at it. All of these positions vacant can be viewed at the Australian Private Investigator Corporate and Government Investigations Facebook jobs page. All you have to do is go to that page. You can see it on your screen. If you can't remember it, watch the replay tomorrow and then do a search for it on Facebook, and you will find historical and current investigation vacancies for government, corporate and licensed private investigators. You can do your research about the industry, what they're offering as far as pay rates, where the jobs are, and you can go through that Facebook page and do that search. You can see current jobs and past.
So who's looking?
Okay, this is a really great job opportunity for licensed investigators throughout Australia. If you're in Queensland, New South Wales or Victoria and you are licensed, get in touch with the team at Quantum Corp. Quantum Corp is seeking investigators all around Australia. They want general insurance investigators, they want workers' compensation investigators, and they've been established for over 20 years. Great team. I know them personally. Get in touch with them. Say, Mike Evans sent me, and they have work ready for you now. Doesn't matter if you're in Queensland, New South Wales or Victoria, they've got work for you. Get in touch with them. They want to know that you've got an Australian Security Academy qualification. If you've got it from the cheap course by the ex-cops, it'll never happen. They want people who know general insurance and workers' compensation. If your qualification...
That's what they want at Quantum Corp, and my word, Quantum Corp had a couple of graduate students of the Australian Security Academy this week, and they're now working for Quantum Corp. So great supporter of the industry, Tim and the team at Quantum Corp. They're looking nationwide. So if you're in Queensland, you're in New South Wales or you're in Victoria and you want interesting work that involves fraud investigations in general insurance and workers' compensation, get in touch with them. Just go to that Facebook page and you'll see all the vacancies there. But who's looking for surveillance operators this week? Let's find out.
The Investigative Services Group in Sydney, New South Wales are looking for licensed factual investigators. Contact Andrew. G'day, Andrew. How you going, mate? You need to be a licensed New South Wales investigator with 2 years' experience. That's what they would prefer. It's not always possible that you may have that, but get in touch with them and apply anyway. You've been doing in your Australian Security Academy course some exercises around interviewing and report writing in relation to workers' compensation, so you're familiar with it. Be confident in applying for this job. Investigative Services Group onboard people. They have their own internal training program. They support their investigators, and they're paying for experienced investigators up to $60 per hour. What is an experienced investigator? An experienced investigator is one that's probably done over 500 investigations, and it means their statements and their reports are absolutely perfect and require no chasing up in relation to their final report. They're drilled and they understand timelines, that sort of thing, and that's what you got to have in your head when you become an investigator in Australia. There's no 6 months, 12 months to do an investigation. It's all got to be done and completed within 14 to 21 days. That's the way the system works. Decisions are made very quickly by insurers on accepting workers' compensation claims or not accepting them at the statutory claim point. And here is a great opportunity with the Investigative Services Group and Andrew Davis in New South Wales. MJM are hiring factual investigators and surveillance investigators. They've been around for 35 years. So they want you to work for them at MJM. So nationally, they are looking for investigators. Get in touch with them. They need to know that you are licensed. They're saying that they pay excellent rates. Get in touch with MJM. They say they pay excellent rates. They've been around for 34 years. They're looking for ethical and professional investigators to carry on their work in surveillance all around the country. So get in touch with MJM. That job was advertised on LinkedIn. You can see it on our Australian Security Academy Facebook page, which is right here. There it is. This is where the jobs are. So you can see MJM's vacancy there. In Western Australia, they're looking for surveillance investigators, as well as New South Wales. They're also looking for investigators in the Northern Territory. So certainly they've got work happening everywhere at MJM, and they're after workers' compensation claims investigators in Queensland. So people in Queensland, what you've seen today is Brookside looking for investigators for general insurance, MJM looking for investigators for workers' compensation. It's all on our Australian Security Academy Facebook page. It's the place to go to see contemporary and current investigation vacancies, brought to you only by the Australian Security Academy, 22 years.
Oh boy, that wind's playing havoc while we're here on bush and rural surveillance in Tasmania. I apologise for the wind in the microphone, people, but we're outside. It's beautiful weather. The drones are flying. We're doing search and rescue training. We're also doing drone training. So great fun. We're really having a great time down here in Tassie this week. Should be all over by Tuesday of next week. We'll see what happens. There might be a slight extension. So if you're seeking work as a licensed private investigator and you are an Australian Security Academy graduate who knows workers' compensation because you do it as in your course, general insurance investigation because you do it as in your course, send me your resume and I'll pass it on to our clients. Now, I have clients that have rung me this week. They're looking for investigators in Victoria to do work safe investigations and general insurance investigations. I'm speaking to the leading people in investigations throughout Australia every day. They're looking for new talent. They want to develop and capacity build their investigation business. They have too much work. Be confident that if you've graduated and you've got your certificate, you can do that investigation work. It's not difficult. If it was rocket science, I wouldn't have done it. So the opportunities are enormous in investigations currently throughout Australia. Don't forget, if you get a chance this week, check your email and have a look at our Investigations Uni program. It's got all about the client service level agreement this week, what to do in psychiatric investigations, how to terminate interviews, taking breaks, all that. So much more, all about legal represented clients and surveillance and all that sort of thing. So there are lots of jobs. There's lots of news up on the Gold Coast. This job is available for a surveillance agent on the Gold Coast with Queensland Covert Investigations. If I'm going too fast for you, just watch the replay of this program tomorrow or go straight to our Facebook page, Australian Private, Corporate and Government Investigations, where you can see all those job vacancies. Coming up very soon, people, on our Investigations Uni, and with the Australian Security Academy and AIRLAP, we are having series of 3 risk management programs starting March 17th. Then we're going to have our workers' compensation programs April 14th to the 28th, and our general insurance programs coming along 19th to the 26th of May, and CTP liability. So all that is happening in the future with our Investigations Uni. And really big news is, as of yesterday, we are going to have coming up on Investigations Uni a lady surveillance operative who's going to be talking about what she does in investigations as a licensed private investigator. So there's a lot to look forward to there. I'm running out of time. I've got to get back to drone and bush and rural surveillance training. So we're going to go straight out with our usual way. Thanks for watching, everyone.
작전 종료. 전원 복귀할 것.
Yes, that's how every investigation agency finishes their week. It's mission complete and all units return to base from Cold Eyes, the Korean movie you must watch. It's really good fun. We're down in Tassie. really strange. Total strangers come straight up to you and start talking to you. Where I'm from on the Gold Coast, if a stranger comes up and starts talking to you, they're going to rob you. We're loving it down here this week. Beautiful sunshine. Hope you have a great week, everyone. Thanks for watching. You've been watching episode 197. 197 weeks of support for the investigation industry in Australia, for support for the investigation employers, you, the licensed investigators, and support for the licensing authorities who monitor investigations throughout Australia. We'll see you again next Friday at 2 p.m. Queensland time, and that will be episode 198. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.